All right, welcome. We got Bible study number 30. All right, we're going strong. We're picking up on page 32 on the left-hand side, verse 24, 28. Let's go ahead and start off with the weekly introduction prayer. Almighty God, we come before you seeking the twin graces of honesty and wisdom to guide our steps each day. Grant us the courage to walk in absolute truth, remove any temptation to deceive, hide, or manipulate, and give us transparent hearts that honor you in both word and deed. When the truth is difficult to speak or hard to hear, season our words with grace, yet keep us anchored in integrity. Pour out your wisdom upon us, Lord, in a world full of noise, confusion, and competing demands. Grant us the discernment to separate the urgent from the important and the superficial from the eternal. Help us see situations through your eyes, to make decisions that reflect your heart, and to navigate complex choices with a steady and peaceful mind. Align our desires with your will so that honesty builds trust and our wisdom bears good fruit, bringing glory to your name and all that we do. Amen. All right, let's go ahead and pick back up on 24, 28. Then the young woman ran off and told her mother's household what had happened. Now Rebekah had a brother named Laban. Laban rushed outside to the man at the spring. When he saw the nose ring and the bracelets on his sister's arms, and when he heard Rebekah repeating what the man had said to her, he went to him while he was standing by the camels at the spring. He said, "Come, blessed of the Lord. Why are you standing outside when I have made the house ready as well as a place for the camels?" The man went inside, and while the camels were being unloaded and provided with straw and fodder, water was brought to bathe his feet and the feet of the men who were with him. But when food was set before him, he said, "I will not eat until I have told my story." "Go ahead," they replied. "I am Abraham's servant," he began. "The Lord has blessed my master so abundantly that he has become wealthy. He has given him flocks and herds, silver and gold, male and female slaves, and camels and donkeys. My master's wife Sarah bore a son to my master in her old age, and he has given him everything he owns. My master put me under oath, saying, 'You shall not take a wife for my son from the daughters of the Canaanites in whose land I live. Instead, you must go to my father's house, to my own family, to get a wife for my son.' When I asked my master, 'What if the woman will not follow me?' He replied, 'The Lord in whose presence I have always walked will send his angel with you and make your journey successful, and so you will get a wife for my son from my own family and my father's house. Then you will be freed from my curse. If you go to my family and they refuse you, then too you will be free from my curse.' When I came to the spring today, I said, 'Lord, God of my master Abraham, please make successful the journey I am on. While I stand here at the spring, if I say to a young woman who comes out to draw water, "Please give me a little water from your jug," and she answers, "Drink, and I will draw water for your camels too," then she is the woman whom the Lord has decided upon for my master's son." I had scarcely finished saying this to myself when Rebekah came out with the jug on her shoulder. After she went down to the spring and drew water, I said to her, "Please let me have a drink." She quickly lowered the jug she was carrying and said, "Drink, and I will water your camels too." So I drank, and she watered the camels also. When I asked her, "Whose daughter are you?" she answered, "The daughter of Bethuel, son of Nahor, born to Nahor by Milcah." So I put the ring on her nose and the bracelets on her wrists. Then I knelt and bowed down to the Lord, blessing the Lord, the God of my master Abraham, who had led me on the right road to obtain the daughter of my master's kinsman for his son. Now, if you will act with kindness and fidelity toward my master, let me know, but if not, let me know that too. I can then proceed accordingly." Laban and Bethuel said in reply, "This thing comes from the Lord. We can say nothing to either for or against it. Here is Rebekah right in front of you. Take her and go, that she may become the wife of your master's son, as the Lord has said." When Abraham's servant heard their answer, he bowed to the ground before the Lord. He then brought out objects of silver and gold and clothing and presented them to Rebekah. He also gave costly presents to her brother and mother. After he and the men with him had eaten and drunk, they spent the night there. When they got up the next morning, he said, "Allow me to return to my master." Her brother and mother replied, "Let the young woman stay with us a short while, say 10 days. After that, she may go." But he said to them, "Do not detain me, now that the Lord has made my journey successful. Let me go back to my master." They answered, "Let us call the young woman and see what she herself has to say about it." So they called Rebekah and asked her, "Will you go with this man?" She answered, "I will." At this, they sent off their sister Rebekah and her nurse with Abraham's servant and his men. They blessed Rebekah and said, "Sister, may you grow into thousands of myriads, and may your descendants gain possession of the gates of their enemies." Good for Will. Then Rebekah and her attendants. Normally nowadays we just get goodbye. I'm like, oh, I want something like this. This is juicy. Go, grow into thousands of myriads, and may your descendants gain possession of the gates of your enemies. Oh man, that's great. That's juicy. That's substance. All right. Then Rebekah and her attendants started out. They mounted the camels and followed the man. So the servant took Rebekah and went on his way. Meanwhile, Isaac had gone from Beer Lahai Roi and was living in the region of Negeb. One day, toward evening, he went out to walk in the field and caught sight of camels approaching. Rebekah, too, caught sight of Isaac and got down from her camel. She asked the servant, "Who is the man over there walking through the fields towards us?" "That is my master," replied the servant. Then she took her veil and covered herself. The servant recounted to Isaac all the things he had done. Then Isaac brought Rebekah into the tent of his mother Sarah. He took Rebekah as his wife. Isaac loved her and found solace after the death of his mother. No, not mama. Let's see, we do have footnotes. I'll just double check and make sure I wasn't missing anything. Okay. 24:30, Laban becomes hospitable only when he sees the servant's rich gifts. Yeah, that's what I kind of picked that up. I don't even say it out loud, but I was like, yeah, I saw because as soon as he saw the part, I read the part where it was like, yeah, he saw the bracelets and the other stuff that he had, and he's like, oh, this guy's rich. He's like, okay, yeah, come on in, come on. Like, what else you got? He becomes hospitable only when he sees the servant's rich gifts, which is in humorous contrast to his sister's spontaneous generosity toward the servant. That's true too. Laban's opportunism points forward to his behavior in the Jacob stories. So Laban comes back. 24:41, curse. This would be the consequence of failing to carry out the oath referred to in verse 3. And page 33, chapter 25, Abraham's sons by Keturah. Abraham took another wife whose name was Keturah. She bore him Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. Jokshan became the father of Sheba and Dedan. The descendants of Dedan were the Ashurim, the Letushim, and the Leumim. The descendants of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanak, Abida, and Eldaah. All of these were descendants of Keturah. Abraham gave everything that he owned to his son Isaac. To the sons of his concubines, however, he gave gifts while he was still living, as he sent them away eastward to the land of Kedem, away from his son Isaac. Let's read this part. Death of Abraham. The whole span of Abraham's life was 175 years. Then he breathed his last, dying at a ripe old age, grown old after a full life, and he was gathered to his people. His sons Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the cave of Machpelah in the field of Ephron, son of Zohar the Hittite, which faces Mamre, in the field that Abraham had bought from the Hittites there. He was buried next to his wife Sarah. After the death of Abraham, God blessed his son Isaac, who lived near Bir Halai-roi. Some footnotes. 2458. Marriage arranged by the woman's father did not require the woman's consent, but marriages arranged by the woman's brother did. Laban is the brother of Rebekah and therefore free to give her consent or not. 25:1 to 11. As with the story of Terah in 11:27 to 32, this section lists all of the descendants of Abraham as a means of concluding the story. The Jacob story, and similarly with the listing of the 12 sons, the death of Isaac, and the descendants of Esau. Abraham took another wife, though mentioned here, Abraham's marriage to a concubine or wife of secondary rank is not to be understood as happening chronologically after the events narrated in the preceding chapter. 25:2. 3 of the 6 names can be identified. The Midianites are a trading people mentioned in the Bible as dwelling east of the Gulf of Aqaba in northwest Arabia. Ishbak is a North Syrian tribe. Shua is a city on the right bank of the Middle Euphrates, and the other names are probably towns or peoples on the international trade routes. Descendants of Ishmael. These are the descendants of Abraham's son Ishmael, whom Hagar the Egyptian, Sarah's slave, bore to Abraham. These are the names of Ishmael's sons listed in the order of their birth. Ishmael's firstborn, Nebaioth, Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tima, Jetur, Naphish, and Kadema. These are the sons of Ishmael, their names by their villages and encampments, 12 chieftains of as many tribal groups. The span of Ishmael's life was 137 years. After he had breathed his last and died, he was gathered to his people. The Ishmaelites ranged from Havilah by Shur, which is on the border of Egypt, all the way to Ashur, and they pitched camp alongside their various kindred. In 25:5, amid so many descendants, Abraham takes steps that Isaac will be his favored heir. 25:6, the land of Kedem, or the country of the east, the region inhabited by the Kedemites or Easterners. The names mentioned in verses 2 through 4, as far as they can be identified, are those of tribes in the Arabian desert. In 25:12, like the conclusion of the Jacob story in chapter 36, where the numerous descendants of the rejected Esau are listed, the descendants of the rejected Ishmael conclude the story. 25:18, pitched camp means fell. The same Hebrew verb is used in JGS. Sorry, I don't know what that means. We'll find out. 7:12, in regard to the hostile encampment of desert tribes. The present passage shows the fulfillment of the prediction contained in Genesis 16:12. Birth of Esau and Jacob. These are the descendants of Isaac, son of Abraham. Abraham begot Isaac. Isaac was 40 years old when he married Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the Aramean of Padan Aram, and the sister of Laban, the Aramean. Isaac entreated the Lord on behalf of his wife since she was sterile. The Lord heard his entreaty, and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. But the children jostled each other in the womb so much that she exclaimed, "If it is like this, why go on living?" She went to consult the Lord, and the Lord answered her, "Two nations are in your womb, two peoples are separating while still within you, but one will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger." When the time of her delivery came, there were twins in her womb. The first to emerge was reddish, and his whole body was like a hairy mantle. So they named him Esau. His next brother came out gripping Esau's heel, so he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when they were born. When the boys grew up, Esau became a skillful hunter, a man of the open country, whereas Jacob was a simple man who stayed among the tents. Isaac preferred Esau because he was fond of game, but Rebekah preferred Jacob. Once, when Jacob was cooking a stew, Esau came in from the open country famished. He said to Jacob, "Let me gulp down some of that red stuff. I am famished." That is why he was called Edom. But Jacob replied, "First sell me your right as firstborn." "Look," said Esau, "I am on the point of dying. What good is the right as firstborn to me?" But Jacob said, "Swear to me first." So he sold Jacob his right as firstborn under oath. Jacob then gave him some bread and the lentil stew, and Esau ate, drank, got up, and went his way. So Esau treated his right as firstborn with disdain. Or he was just desperate, and so it's like, yeah, here, take it, like, but whatever. Maybe he thought he was joking or something. I don't know. I wasn't there. Who knows? Footnotes 2519 and 3643. The Jacob cycle is introduced as the family history of Isaac, Jacob's father, just as the Abraham stories were introduced as the record of the descendants of Terah, Abraham's father. The cycle, made up of various stories, is given unity by several recurring themes: birth, blessing, and inheritance, which are developed through the basic contrasts of barrenness, fertility, non-blessing, or blessing, and the inheritance or exile or homeland. The large story has an envelope structure in which Jacob's youth is spent in Canaan, striving with his older brother Esau. His early adulthood in Padan Aram, building a family and striving with his brother-in-law Laban, and his later years back in Canaan. 2520, Padan Aram, the name used by the priestly tradition for the northwest region of Mesopotamia between the Habur and the Euphrates rivers. In Assyrian, Padana is a road or a garden, and Aram refers to the people or the land of the Arameans. The equivalent geographical term in the Yahweh source is Aram Naharaim, or Aram between two rivers. In 2522, if it is like this, in Hebrew, the phrase lamazeh is capable of several meanings. It occurs again in verse 32. In other words, what good? Or 32:30, what do you want? Or 33:15, for what reason? It is one of several words and motifs that run through the story, suggesting that a divine pattern, unknown to the actors, is at work. In 25:23, the older will serve the younger. Rebecca, he's like your herald popping out first, ready to receive you. All right. Rebecca now knows something that no one else knows, that God favors Jacob over Esau. The text does not say if she shared this knowledge with anyone or kept it to herself, but from their actions, it seems unlikely that either Isaac or Esau knew. That fact must be borne in mind in assessing Rebecca's role in chapter 27, the theft of Esau's blessing. Chapter 26, Isaac and Abimelech. There was a famine in the land, distinct from the earlier one that had occurred in the days of Abraham, and Isaac went down to Abimelech, king of the Philistines in Gerar. The Lord appeared to him and said, "Do not go down to Egypt, but camp in this land wherever I tell you. Sojourn in this land, and I will be with you and bless you. For you and your descendants I will give all these lands in fulfillment of the oath that I swore to your father Abraham." I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky, and I will give them all these lands, and in your descendants all the nations of the earth will find blessing. This because Abraham obeyed me, keeping my mandate, my commandments, my ordinances, and my instructions. Footnotes for 2525. Reddish in Hebrew, Admoni, a reference to Edom, another name for Esau. Edom was also the name of the country south of Moab, or southeast of the Dead Sea, where the descendants of Esau lived. It was called the Red Country because of its reddish sandstone. Moreover, red points ahead to the red stew in the next scene. Sinoman. Hairy in Hebrew, Seir, is a reference to Seir, another name for Edom. 2526, heel in Hebrew, Akeb, a word play on the name Jacob. The first of the three scenes of striving with Esau. The second is verses 27 through 34, and the third, chapter 27. In all the scenes, Jacob values the blessing more than his ardent but unreflective brother Esau does. 2527, simple. The Hebrew word denotes soundness, integrity, health, none of which fit here. Whatever its whatever its precise meaning, it must be opposite to the qualities of Esau. 2530, red stuff in Hebrew, Adam, another play on the word Edom, the red land. So did she like give birth to him and he just fell into the dirt and he's covered in the red sand? They're twins. You had twins. Cool. Are there any stories of triplets or octuplets in here? Let's find out. Next time on Bible study. Right after this commercial break. All right, 26:1, the promise of land and numerous descendants given. Oh, wait, hold on. 25:31, right as firstborn, the privilege that entitled the firstborn son to a position of honor in the family and to a double share the possessions inherited from the father. There is a persistent wordplay between Bekora, right of the firstborn, and Baraka, or the blessing. Contrary to custom, the preference here is for the younger son, as it was in the choice of Isaac over Ishmael. 26:1, the promise of land and numerous descendants given to Abraham is renewed for his son Isaac. The divine blessing to Isaac is mentioned also in verses 12, 24, and 29. All right, here we are. So Isaac settled in Gerar. When the men of the place asked questions about his wife, he answered, "She is my sister." He was afraid that if he called her his wife, the men of the place would kill him on account of Rebekah, since she was beautiful. But when they had been there for a long time, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of a window and saw Isaac fondling his wife Rebekah. I'm just playing. All right, I don't know what he was doing. Maybe he was doing a little finger blasting, who knows? Or probably just giving her a hug, but extra fondly, like giving her a hickey or something. I don't know. He's fondling her. It was more than just friendship. It was obviously more than platonic. So Abimelech was like, that's either really weird or they're not actually married, or they're not actually siblings. They got to be married. Very astute, Abimelech. Fool me once. This freaking family, man. Oh man, Abimelech was like, I'm on to you people. There's a pattern. Once is an anomaly, twice is twice a technical coincidence. You know, I'm already noticing the pattern. Where was I? Okay, so he's funneling his wife Rebecca. He called for Isaac and said, "She must certainly be your wife. How could ye have said she is my sister?" Isaac replied, "I thought I might lose my life on her account." "How could you have done this to us?" exclaimed Abimelech. "It would have taken very little for one of the people to lie with your wife, and so you would have brought guilt upon us." Abimelech then commanded all the people. You saying Rebecca's easy or what? Or you guys? No, I'm just fine. You guys, they probably would have raped her. And then women were a lot more. Gullible is definitely not the right word. It's more of men were definitely dominant, and women are gonna went along with it. They're more submissive. That's what it is. Not gullible, submissive. So they're more like she would have been like, "If I must." We've improved since then. All right, we're good now. Sort of better, not perfect, but better. All right. There we go. Abimelech then commanded all the people, "Anyone who maltreats this man or his wife shall be put to death." Isaac sowed a crop in that region and reaped 100-fold the same year. Nice. Big ROI. Since the Lord blessed him, he became richer and richer all the time until he was very wealthy. That's some good land. He acquired flocks and herds and a great workforce, so the Philistines became envious of him. The Philistines had stopped and filled with dirt all the wells that his father's servants had dug back in the days of his father Abraham. You all jelly, like they're vindictive, so they're just like, you know what? We don't like how wealthy you are, so we're gonna go ahead and fuck with your shit. A bunch of cunts. All right. That's like say like people taking out anger on the rich just for the sake of being rich, not because they're rich and suck. Like they're just like, you're richer than I am. So like that's bad. Like them being vindictive and like hurting them just because like they have more than they do. That's not good. That's not good. But when you have a rich person who's abusing their power and abusing those under them, that's different. That's like, okay. Lifestyles of the rich and the famous. They got mansions. Think we should rob them. Different story. What was I? So they fill the wells. So they're like, we don't like you. You have more than we do. So take some dirt. We can't find ways to get more. So how about we just take some from you and give you less? Now you're on our level. Equality, right? No. Big injustice. All right, so Abimelech said to Isaac, "Go away from us. You have become far too numerous for us." Isaac left there and camped in the Wadi Gerar, where he stayed. Isaac reopened the wells which his father's servants had dug back in the days of his father Abraham, and which the Philistines had stopped up after Abraham's death. He gave them names like those that his father had given them. But when Isaac's servants dug in the wadi and searched and reached spring water in their well, the shepherds of Gerar argued with Isaac's shepherds, saying, "The water belongs to us." So they named the well Esek, but they had quarreled there, or because they had quarreled there. Then they dug another well, and they argued over that one too. So he named it Sitnah. So he moved on from there and dug still another well, but over this one they did not argue. He named it Rehoboth and said, "Because the Lord has now given us ample room, we shall flourish in the land." From there Isaac went up to Beersheba. The same night the Lord appeared to him and said, "I am the God of Abraham, your father. Do not fear, for I am with you. I will bless you and multiply your descendants for the sake of Abraham my servant." So Isaac built an altar there and invoked the Lord by name. After he had pitched his tent there, Isaac's servants began to dig a well nearby. Then Abimelech came to him from Gerar with Ahuzath, his counselor, and Phicol, the general of his army. Hold on, did Fickle get promoted? What was Fickle before? Was he commander of his army? Oh man, I can't remember exactly. I don't. Was he a general before? I'm not totally sure. I forget if Fickle was a general. I thought he said commander. I'm not. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. Well, he's the general of the army. Isaac asked them, "Why have you come to me, since you hate me and have driven me away from you?" They answered, "We clearly see that the Lord has been with you, so we thought, let there be a sworn agreement between our two sides, between you and us. Let us make a covenant with you. You shall do no harm to us, just as we have not maltreated you, but have always acted kindly toward you and have let you depart in peace. So now may you be blessed by the Lord." Isaac then made a feast for them, and they ate and drank. Early the next morning, they exchanged oaths. Then Isaac sent them on their way, and they departed from him in peace. That same day, Isaac's servants came and informed him about the well they had been digging. They told him, "We have reached water." He called it Sheba. Hence, the name of the city is Beersheba to this day. When Esau was 40 years old, he married Judith, daughter of Beri the Hittite, and Basemath, daughter of Elon the Hivite. But they became a source of bitterness to Isaac and Rebekah. Ooh. Drama. All right. 26:6 to 26:11. This scene is the third version of the wife in danger story. The mention of the famine in 26:1 recalls the famine in 12:10. The name Abimelech, king of the Philistines in Gerar, recalls 22. The deception, according to all the stories, is the claim that the wife is a sister. This story, from the Yahweh source, departs from the two previous accounts in that the wife is not taken into the harem of the foreign king. So I guess that's kind of a common practice. If she was like smoking hot, like total bombshell, like freaking smoke show, the king was like, "I'll have me that." She's one of mine now. That's your payment in exchange for me allowing you to live and live here. And live here and live alive. 26. Well, actually, no, they would probably kill him too, huh? 'Cause- all right. Never mind. They're just like, I'll take that, and then and we don't need you anymore. Thank you. Thank you. Come again. Or don't. 26:12 to 26:33. The dispute over the water rights. In a sparsely watered land, wells were precious, and claims on water could function as a kind of claim on the land. Scholars generally judge the account of the dispute over water rights and its settlement by legal agreement between Isaac and Abimelech to be a Yahwist version of the similar story about Abraham in 21:22 to 21:34. Here, Abimelech realizes that Isaac has brought blessing to his people and thus desires a covenant with him. The feast in verse 30 is part of the covenant ceremony. Okay, so was Abimelech just realizing that he was like, Isaac is like finding a bunch of wells, and he's like, dang. Well, like even if the people were like quarreling over it and be like, we want that now and taking it, Abimelech is still like, well, you're going around digging all these wells, and that's quenching the thirst of all my people, and so I like what you're doing. And you have the power of God on your side, apparently. Maybe Abimelech thought that too, and he was like, you know what? I'm not trying to mess with you. You don't mess with me. I don't mess with you. You got my back. I got your back. Let's go ahead, tickle each other's fancy. Let's be on the same side. Let's be cool. Peace. Wait, no. Peace. Oh my god. I don't know where my brain was at for a second. Okay. In 26:20, Isaac means to quarrel. In 26:21, Sitna means opposition. 26:22, Rehoboth means wide spaces, in other words, ample room to live. Site is probably southwest of modern-day Beersheba. 2633, Shiba, the place name of Shiba, is a play on two Hebrew words, Shebua, or oath, and Shwebea, or seven. In verse 31, they exchanged oaths. Where did I stop? Okay, they exchanged oath. Isaac sent them on their way, and they departed from him in peace. Okay, and then these was it base math, Judith. So Judith, base math became a source of bitterness to Isaac and Rebekah. All right. Chapter 27, Jacob's deception. When Isaac was so old that his eyesight had failed him, he called his older son Esau and said to him, "My son, here I am," he replied. Isaac then said, "Now I have grown old. I do not know when I might die. So now take your hunting gear, your quiver and bow, and go out into the open country to hunt some game for me. Then prepare me a dish in the way I like and bring it to me to eat, so that I may bless you before I die." Rebekah had been listening while Isaac was speaking to his son Esau. So when Esau went out into the open country to hunt some game for his father, Rebekah said to her son Jacob, "Listen, I heard your father tell your brother Esau, 'Bring me some game and prepare a dish for me to eat, that I may bless you with the Lord's approval before I die.' Now, my son, obey me in what I am about to order you. Go to the flock and get me 2 choice young goats, so that with these I might prepare a dish for your father in the way he likes. Then bring it to your father to eat, that he may bless you before he dies." But Jacob said to his mother Rebekah, "But my brother Esau is a hairy man, and I am smooth-skinned. Suppose my father feels me. Will he think I am making fun of him, and will bring on myself a curse instead of a blessing?" His mother, however, replied, "Let any curse against you, my son, fall on me. Just obey me. Go and get me the young goats." So Jacob went and got them and brought them to his mother, and she prepared a dish in the way his father liked. Rebekah then took the best clothes of her older son Esau that she had in the house and gave them to her younger son Jacob to wear. And with the goat skins, she covered up his hands and the hairless part of his neck. Then she gave her son Jacob the dish and the bread she had prepared. Going to his father, Jacob said, "Father." "Yes," replied Isaac. "Which of my sons are you?" Jacob answered his father, "I am Esau, your firstborn. I did as you told me. Please sit up and eat some of my game, so that you may bless me." But Isaac said to his son, "How did you get it so quickly, my son?" He answered, "The Lord your God directed me." Isaac then said to Jacob, "Come closer, closer." "Come closer, my son." Good. Here we go. "Come closer, my son, that I may feel you, to learn whether you are really my son Esau or not." So Jacob moved up closer to his father. I don't feel like he would have asked that unless he already had suspicions. But anyway, when Isaac felt him, he said, "Although the voice is Jacob's, the hands are Esau's." He failed to identify him because his hands were hairy like those of his brother Esau, so he blessed him. "Oh, Isaac." Again, Isaac said, "Are you really my son Esau?" And Jacob said, "I am." "Yeah, yeah, 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 yeah." Totally. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. 100%. Bet. No cap. Jacob said, I am. Then Isaac said, serve me, my son, and let me eat of the game so that I may bless you. Jacob served it to him, and Isaac ate. He brought him wine, and he drank. Finally, his father said to him, come closer, my son. Kiss me. Come closer, my son, and kiss me. No, he said that. I'm not making that up. I know I have little side tangents sometimes, but nope, that's in here. Come closer, my son, and kiss me. He probably said it less like Buffalo Bill and more like something else. But like, anyway, as he went up to kiss him, Isaac smelled the fragrance of his clothes. With that, he blessed him, saying, ah, the fragrance of my son is like the fragrance of a field that the Lord has blessed. Smells like dirt and manure. Yes, manly. In the blood of game. May God give to you of the dew of the heavens and the fertility of the earth, abundance of grain and wine. May peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be master of your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Amen. In 26:34 through 35, these verses from the priestly source introduce the next section on Esau's loss of his right as firstborn by suggesting a motivation for this in Isaac and Rebekah's dislike for Esau's Canaanite wives. 27:1 through 27:45, the chapter, a literary masterpiece, is the third and climactic wresting away of the blessing of Esau. Rebecca manages the entire affair, using perhaps her privileged information about Jacob's status. Jacob's only qualm is that if his father discovers the ruse, he will receive a curse instead of a blessing. Isaac is passive, as he was in chapters 22 and 24. The deception is affected through clothing. Jacob wears Esau's clothing, which points ahead to a similar deception of a patriarch by means of clothing in the Joseph story. Such recurrent acts and scenes let the reader know a divine purpose is moving the story forward, even though the human characters are unaware of it. It's kind of like what was it, watching Dutton Ranch, and was it Annette Bening plays some character, and then she's about to give it to her son Joaquin, and then the other coke addict, whatever the guy, what's he on? Fentanyl, coke. I don't know, he's snorting lines of something, but he's like an addict, right? And then he comes back and threatens her, and she's like, she gives this whole speech, and then like later on she gives a speech, and then she's like, and I give my ranch to Rob Will instead of Joaquin, and it's like Joaquin's like, oh, what? And then he calls El Padrino, and Padrino comes. I don't want to spoil it. Never mind. If you want to watch it, that's not a big spoiler. That's kind of like it's kind of expected as you're watching. It's like, oh, okay, I see what's gonna happen. So that's not spoiling it too much, but I'm gonna save El Padrino. It's literally the title of the last episode, so that's not really spoiling anything either. But El Padrino comes by and oh, it's a good show. All right, anyway, but yeah, similar things kind of happen there where it's like people try to steal the inheritance and stuff. In 27:4, I may bless you. Isaac's blessing confers fertility and dominion. The dew of heaven is rain that produces grain and wine, two of the principal foodstuffs to the ancient Near East. The fertility of the earth may allude to oil, the third basic foodstuff. The full agricultural year may be implied here. The fall rains are followed by the grain harvests of the spring and the grape harvest of late summer, and then the olive harvest of the fall. All right. So we got a little map here, mappity map, from Jacob's journey to Padanaram. So land of the Arameans. Padanaram, Mesopotamia. All right, where does he go? Thanks. Let's see if I can follow this. So from Beersheba to Bethel, that's where Jacob has a vision of Jacob, and it has a little like, oh my God, epiphany or like a little explosion symbol, like mind blown. You got a vision. Enlightenment. All right, so it goes from Bethel to Haran or Padan Aram, Mesopotamia. Then he goes to Damascus and to Mizpah. That's where he's a covenant with Laban. And then Mahanaim, and then to Penuel, where there's a struggle with the angel and meeting with Esau, and to Succoth, then to Salem, then to, these kind of bunched up together, Jerusalem, Migdal Eder, Bethlehem, Mamre, and Hebron, and Machpelah. Probably completely butchered that, but all right. There is Phoenicia. So you got Syria, Phoenicia. Is it the Phoenicians, Canaanites, Hittites? Okay. And Euphrates. Okay. Somebody's doing construction on my roof. Being loud as F. Caravan of Bedouin nomads. There's a photo here. It's a bunch of camels, a bunch of nomads. Such caravans still cross the desert today, reminiscent of Jacob's company in the time of the patriarchs. This caravan was organized to lead a clan to a new home. I should get some like ATVs. You can let the camels be free. You don't have to subjugate them and ride on top of them and have them carry you. You can create things that carry you, technology. You don't have to have animals work unnecessarily hard and suffer for you. Oh, people are just so adorably and backwards. All right, we'll fix that. Jacob's journey to Padan Aram. A. Jacob sets out from Beersheba to Haran in Padan Aram, or Mesopotamia. Mesopotamia of Alexander the Great. I don't know if they're there yet. He's in Alexander the Great OG, lived in 333 BC JC. That's how I remember it. When was this? When did this take place? Somebody remind me, comment. Go ahead and remind me when exactly this is all taking place. I can't remember exactly. Give me like a time frame. Because IDK. All right, so he has a vision at Bethel. B, in Padan Aram, Jacob meets Rachel and remains there 14 years to be able to marry her. He then prolongs his stay with Laban, her father. Oh, Laban's back. Laban, the greedy guy, the one who was easily bribed, or he just saw the riches and was like, "You got more of that?" It's like, I like you. You got money and you're willing to give it to us. Laban, very superficial character. C, at the Lord's command, Jacob decides to return to Canaan with his family. D, in Gilead, Laban overtakes Jacob, and the two draw up a peace pact at Gilead. Excuse me. I should have water. Next time. All right. So they make a peace pact at Gilead and Mizpah. At Anaim, Jacob encounters God's messengers and sends messengers ahead to Esau in the land of Seir in Edom. F, at the river Jabbok, Jacob struggles with the angel. naming the place Penuel. He meets Esau and goes on to Succoth. G. At Shechem, Jacob reaches Canaan and sets up a memorial stone to El, the god of Israel. Dinah is raped and avenged by Jacob's sons. Yikes. H. Jacob and his family return to Bethel and build an altar. On the way to Ephrath, Bethlehem, Rachel dies. Israel pitches his tent beyond Migdal Eder. Jacob arrives home at Kiriath Arba, or Hebron, and the death of Isaac. Here of the ford of the Jabbok River. This is the traditional site where Jacob wrestled with the angel of God, an event that marked a turning point in his life. Jacob thereupon changed his name and his nature. He came to realize that he had been battling God by sin. Now he would win himself over as he had won over the angel. What kind of plants you been eating, buddy? Found yourself some good stuff, man. Had a really weird trip. Watch him be like over there in the middle of the desert, like wrestling himself. Be like, stay down. It's like wrestling himself, like he's like. You got some shepherds over there just watching him. It's like, oh man, this dude got into our stash. I'm just playing. I could be making that up. At least I'm honest about that. These people don't clarify it. Maybe because they don't know, but also the narrative thing. Land of Goshen. Ooh, that's a pretty picture. Got the pyramids of Egypt there. Got a little river. Some little structures there. Some palm trees. It's kind of nice. Nice little vacation spot. Land of Goshen. In the distance lie the pyramids of Gizeh. Is that Giza? Gizeh. And it's not Giza, it's Gizeh. And in the foreground is an irrigation canal. Ah, that's what that is. This district is some 900 square miles in the northeast section of the Nile Delta region, and is thought to be the place where the Hebrews settled under Jacob while Joseph was the prime minister of Egypt. Joseph, prime minister. Cool. Hold on. Okay. Oh, okay. So we're still going on with the blessing. Okay, so Isaac telling Jacob, be master of your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be those who curse you, and blessed be those who bless you. Jacob had scarcely left his father after Isaac had finished blessing him. When his brother Esau came back from his hunt, he too prepared a dish, and bringing it to his father, he said, let my father sit up and eat some of his son's game, so that you may give me your blessing. His father Isaac asked him, who are you? What? Who are you, huh? Huh? Tell me. He said, who are you? I am your son, your firstborn son, Esau. Isaac trembled greatly. Oh no, what have I done? He said, who was it then, he asked, that hunted game and brought it to me? I ate it all just before you came and blessed him. Now he is blessed. Oh no. As he heard his father's words, Esau burst into loud, bitter sobbing and said, oh, father, bless me too. When Isaac said, your brother came here by a ruse and carried off your blessing. Esau exclaimed, he is well named Jacob, is he not? He has supplanted me twice. First, he took away my right as firstborn. Now he has taken away my blessing. Then he said, have you not saved the blessing for me? Yeah, because blessings totally aren't free. You can't just say it again. Like, say it again, bless him again. Isaac's like, no, no, I've already given away the blessing. I can't bless anybody else. Too tired. I'm gonna die. No, I'm dying. I don't have time for that. I can't be bothered. I don't know. I'm being silly. All right. Here we go. It's serious. Here we go. They're crying. They're emotional. They're all sad and shocked and appalled. And, okay, let's go. Let's get back into it. Have you not saved a blessing for me? Isaac replied to Esau, I have already appointed him your master, and I have assigned to him all his kindred as his servants. Besides, I have sustained him with grain and wine. What then can I do for you, my son? Oh, so he basically did he give away all his shit? All right. But Esau said to his father, have you only one blessing, father? And that's what I'm saying. Like, he's like, yo, what the hell, man? Bless me too, father. Like, yo. What's wrong with you, man? And Esau wept aloud. His father Isaac said in response, see, far from the fertile earth will be your dwelling, far from the dew of the heavens above. By your sword you will live, and your brother you will serve. But when you become restless, you will throw off his yoke from your neck. Okay. So you may be free at some point. All right, in 2736, he has supplanted me. In Hebrew, wow, well, that's a long word. Okay. Several syllables there. Okay, let me give it an attempt. Wayakabeni, a wordplay on the name Jacob. Yaakov, see Jeremiah 9:3 and Genesis 25:26. There's also a play between the Hebrew words Bekorah, or right of the firstborn, and Baraka, or blessing. In 28:1-9, a glimpse of Rebecca's shrewdness is provided by 27:42 to 28:2. She is aware of Esau's murderous plot against Jacob. Whoa, when does that happen? Oh, maybe later. We might not have gotten to that yet. I was like, whoa, did I miss something? No, we haven't. We're good. Okay. She becomes aware of Esau's murderous plot against Jacob. Ooh, like another Cain. But realizes the episode of the stolen blessing is still painful to Isaac. She therefore uses another motive to persuade Isaac to send Jacob away. He must marry within the family, endogamy, unlike Esau. Esau, unreflective as usual, realizes too later he also should marry within the family, but significantly marries from Abraham's rejected line. What's the rejected line? Because they defied him, or they had like some sort of genetic defects? Why exactly was this line rejected? I don't know. Maybe we'll find out. At this point in the story, Jacob and his mother have taken the blessing for themselves. Their actions have put Jacob in a precarious position. He must flee the land because of his brother's murderous intent and find a wife in the far country. One might ask how God's blessing can be given to such an unworthy schemer. There is a biblical pattern of preferring the younger brother or sister over the other. Isaac over Ishmael, Jacob over Esau, Rachel over Leah, Joseph over his older brothers, Ephraim over Manasseh, David over his older brothers. All right. Esau bore a grudge against Jacob because of the blessing his father had given him. Esau said to himself, let the time of mourning for my father come so that I may kill my brother Jacob. Oh, very extreme response. Okay. How about you try talking to him, confronting him, get to the bottom of it and be like, yo, what the hell, man? See if he can be more diplomatic and negotiate. But no, it's like, I'm going to kill. I have to kill. Take his life. No, young Padawan, no. When Rebekah got news of what her older son Esau had in mind, she summoned her younger son Jacob and said to him, "Listen, your brother Esau intends to get revenge by killing you. So now, my son, obey me. Flee at once to my brother Laban in Haran, and stay with him a while until your brother's fury subsides, until your brother's anger against you subsides and he forgets what you did to him. Then I will send for you and bring you back. Why should I lose both of you in a single day?" Jacob sent to Laban. Rebekah said to Isaac, "I am disgusted with life because of the Hittite women. If Jacob also should marry a Hittite woman, a native of the land, like these women, why should I live?" A lot of prejudice back then. Damn. All right. What are we at? An hour? Cool. Let's go ahead and stop at chapter 28 and pick back up on page 37, chapter 28 of Genesis. Ooh, good session. Here we go. Come back to that. Thank you for watching. Let's go ahead. Conclusion prayer. Let's go ahead and leave with a something to hold in our hearts and minds. With a goal this week, something good. So a little knowledge. Gracious and almighty God, as we gather here today, we bow our heads and lift our hearts to you, asking for your deep, enduring peace to flood our world. Lord, we live in a fractured time where noise and division so easily drown out our shared humanity. Grant us the wisdom, not just the knowledge, but divine wisdom to move forward productively. Show us how to walk away from needless conflict, to heal what is broken, and to actively pursue a genuine sense of unification and togetherness among all people. Remind us, Father, that beneath every label, across every border, and through every difference of culture, nation, and ethnicity, we are one family. Help us look past superficial differences in appearance, ideology, philosophy, and lifestyle. Strip away our prejudice and pride, and help us remember that we are called to work together as one people, bound by grace and shared purpose. Lord, check our hearts and give us true perspective. Forgive us for the times we major in the minors. Humble us with the realization that our petty little squabbles over frivolous, menial matters are a profound luxury. They are a sign of the privilege we hold, insulated as we often are from life-altering and life-endangering hardships. Wake us up to the reality of how much time we waste on things that do not matter, while millions face true suffering. Lift our gaze, O God, above the trivial frictions of daily life. Help us to keep our eyes fixed on what truly lies ahead and on the magnificent things we can accomplish when we stop fighting over the small pieces of the puzzle and finally look at your grand, beautiful picture. Unite us in vision, strengthen us in resolve, and lead us forward together. In your holy name we pray. Amen. All right, go ahead and wrap it up there. And you guys will go ahead and have a wonderful day. And we'll pick that up when we get back. All right. Adios.